Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, and it is 8:33 a.m. EST. And the big question is the Bitcoin bull market over? Is it time to freak out? Just kidding. Or is it? I don't know. Well, let's take a look at a few things, okay? Why don't we go ahead and zoom out rather than looking at all of the carnage, all this carnage. Ooh, rough to look at. And we're going to zoom out. We're going to take a look at the higher time frame. We're going to have a discussion around the usual 4-year cycle and how that works and when the tops happen. Now, brief look on my own personal metrics using some basically high time frame fib data. I had the top between 120 and 160. It's a screen rectangle, right? And so at least that condition has been met. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. On the weekly, also seeing a couple of things that look rather at least short-term bearish, right? So we could be seeing that. Now, crypto is starting to melt down. In general, a lot of altcoins are taking a hit, although it does seem that we're seeing kind of a mini sea of green today with privacy coins leading. I know ZEC has been really the big news, just mobbing up. I don't know what else to say. I think a lot of people think that the cycle is over, so they're going to privacy coins. That seems to be the popular theory. Give me just a moment here. Well, okay, I thought I muted the mic. You got to hear all that. That's great. Lots of lovely noises this morning. But yeah, Monero is just taken off as a general privacy coin, not even like the specialty privacy. The ZEC, of course, is up. I don't know how many multiples in the last week, but yeah, thanks for the 5x5 there. Mikey, I'm sure you heard me blow my nose. That's just really attractive. All right, good. So if we see a range build in this area, right? Let me go ahead and draw a box around it. If price can stay above 98,000, I know that was kind of the number I had going back. I mean, we're talking about going back months. So beware 98,000. Not to say that if price goes below 98, it's like the end of the world, but certainly 98,000 is an important number, but it's not the end of the uptrend, right? So if you want to look at the uptrend, the construction of the high time frame uptrend, we have higher highs and higher lows, just like this. There's the higher highs. And until price goes below 74,000, technically this uptrend has not been broken. Now, price going below 98,000, a lot of people do think that is a signal for the end of the bull. Fair enough. But I would say, be careful with that. What can happen in these markets is you have like these panic moves, right? You can see it here. I mean, even going back to 2024, each one of these pullbacks, let's do a quick measurement. This pullback was 35%, right? This pullback here was 32%. So these pullbacks do a few things. They, first of all, go back to the top of the prior move, which this particular pullback has already surpassed that, which is actually kind of a little bit of a bearish sign. But that doesn't mean that we need to just like be bearish immediately. But each of these broke a 35% pullback in the middle of the bull market, right? Now we are a little bit late in the bull market, and we have now seen a 20% pullback, which is not uncommon in these bull markets. So we've seen pullbacks that are far sharper in the middle of the bull market. And nobody I'm sure people freaked out, but a lot of us veterans didn't freak out, right? We've been around, we've seen this, it's not a big deal. So from a percentage pullback standpoint, the current pullback really is within range, right? And until price goes below this prior low right here at 75,000, technically the uptrend is intact. Now, I'm not saying the bull market isn't over. Maybe it is. I had a minimum of 120,000. And so until price hit 120,000, I didn't think that the bull market would be over, and price met 126. Now my sweet spot for the top was 145,000, and my more, let's just say the upper area of my range was about 160,000. And I said all of this while everybody was crowing about it's going to be $250,000. Bitcoin's going to go to 300,000. Okay, you know what? Sure, why not, right? You got Wall Street in the game, you got BlackRock in the game. Well, what that can do is a couple of things. Wall Street and BlackRock can lead to distortions in the market. Because first of all, BlackRock and whoever else, State Street, I don't even know who owned the funds. I don't care. I mean, I care and I don't care, right? It's just kind of they're all the same to me. What they do is they buy the Bitcoin, right? They'll have a certain amount of it, and supposedly for a spot ETF, they're supposed to have the exact same amount of Bitcoin. Excuse me. I should say they're supposed to have at least the same amount of Bitcoin as is being traded nominally. But what they actually can do is just rehypothecate like they do everything else. They can just say, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to borrow Bitcoin from this guy. And then the other guy's borrowed from them. And all of a sudden you have loans become assets in a balance sheet. Valuations become overblown, and you have what you have in the stock market. So it's what's going on is demand that would normally be going to Bitcoin is now turning into going to the ETFs. And supposedly it's like, oh, well, it's a spot ETF. They're supposed to have all the Bitcoin represented in the trades. Yeah. Okay. If you believe that, then, I got a bridge in Manhattan to sell you, right? Bridge in Brooklyn. So it's a lot of the demand's been taken away because everybody that was like big in Bitcoin went ahead and cozied up to Wall Street because they thought it was going to make him rich. And it probably did make him rich, but it didn't make them anywhere near as rich as it would have if Bitcoin just would have continued along. In my opinion, I could be wrong. It is what it is. But do I think the end is here? I need a little more time to say that. I'm not quite confident that the end is here. Although break below 98,000 might be a good clue. If we're looking at kind of the near-term trend, I would say if price breaks below 98,000, attempts to come back up, and then it isn't really able to break, say, like the one teens, and then, does this again, that you're starting to look at, okay, try to get the high again, couldn't do it. If I could compare that to like my metrics on the bottom here, and, that's when we start to say like, okay, we might be there. Just understand that Bitcoin does have a way of coming back when you don't expect it to do so. And as it stands right now on the daily chart, there is something going on in the charts that does indicate that there's going to be some kind of a bear market rally. Not that we're in a bear market, but just like a bearish rally, right? Where price is going down and it just gets so much pressure as it's falling that it just gets pushed right back up like a beach ball. Not to say it won't go back down after that, but we're just at a point in the charts that I'm looking at right here with my own kind of formula where it's going to probably pop up again. Now it's a question of whether or not it can reclaim those highs and whether or not that means it has a chance at continuing up. But all the altcoins are calming down. Of course, they took some hits. You have Solana, sitting at the 150-ish level. You have Ethereum, so I can find Ethereum on my stuff here. Ethereum down at 3350. So all the cryptos are all kind of looking the same right now. And just because, Bitcoin is having a decent morning, it's up 1.3%. We'll see if it can hold above 98,000. Not that it has to, but until we break new highs, we are definitely in very obvious danger that the bear market is over. And that's a very obvious statement to make, but how it behaves on the way to those highs is going to tell us a lot, as opposed to just whether or not the highs get broken, right? So that's the real question. Is the Bitcoin bull market over? Quite possible. Or it's quite possible. We're going to see. We're going to have to see how it behaves. I do, like I said, I have a metric on the chart. It's those of you who trade with Algo Factory know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're looking at this chart, in particular, the indicators on the bottom, and that's going to tell us a lot. Right, it's going to tell us quite a bit, but there's a lot of bearishness that needs to be overcome for the bull market to be back in effect. Okay, so that's Bitcoin, And we have gone 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and flip over to the private live lab so that Algo Factory members can ask their questions privately as far as what charts look good. I'm going to tell you right now, if you, what I've noticed about this particular bull market is nobody's trading. Everybody's playing with their meme coins. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to last. Like the bear market's just going to eat your lunch. There's always going to be that gambling going on, but the meme coin paradise is like 2 years ago. And that game's probably over in any profitable way. And even during the meme coin paradise, really, the only people profiting were the people who were starting the meme coins and a couple of lucky others. So if you want to learn how to actually profit in markets like an adult and in a consistent way, not where it's like, hey, I almost got my 100x, but instead I lost half my money. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to risk a small amount and increase my account by a few percent a month, which is like God mode when it comes to actual trading in the real life, like an adult. Even if it's in crypto, like you could do that with crypto. I mean, Hyperliquid is a great place to do it. Just very doable, but totally doable. We teach people how to do that. As a matter of fact, you can get your free algo. Link is in the description. All right. So just go to the link in the description, and that algo is going to be, you'll see me build it, and you'll have to optimize it in order to trade it profitably. But you'll watch how I build it. You'll watch how I turn it into code, right? So what I do is I use Grok to turn it into code and make it an indicator on the chart. Like you see these little tabs, little green tabs right there, the little red tabs you see on the chart. And then I show you the tools that traders are using to connect to their exchange. So this can actually trade while they're not even at the computer, right? But if you want to manually trade it, just trade it when the algo pings, when you get the little red or green tab, and it's not the same exact algo as you see on the screen. It's a different one. Again, you have to optimize it. All that is up to you, but I'm giving it away for free. Just put the link in the description and you'll be able to see that. Get the free algo. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we will see you tomorrow. I know I didn't do this yesterday. Sorry for the lack of continuity, but never forget.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You will not die. And hopefully you will join us. We love you.